own development. Um, yeah, let's see here. I guess we'll kind of take a look at these, what this looks like. This is actually from Apocalypse, but I think they use some of the same things. So this is human, shattering, dismantling, unwinding. So these are technically reliquaries. I guess you want to read that, what a reliquary is.
Each city has what's called a reliquary, and the reliquary begins to spawn unique items for the citizens to take advantage of based on the performance progression and achievements that those citizens have within the world. So if your citizens are part of downing a world boss or completing a dungeon in a record time or crafting a legendary item or whatever, all of these different types of progression paths for the cities could result in the production of a relic that exists within the reliquary.
Yeah, if you look. So I guess that's kind of what it looks like in game. Woo! Took me all the way out, of course. Yeah, so this one right here. That's pretty cool. It kind of looks like a dragon egg of some sort.
Kind of looks like that room in Dalaran where, every achievement you put something into the shelf.
Yep. Okay. So node buildings, I guess quickly. So Academy, Apartments, Armory, Auction House, Barracks, Blacksmith, City Hall, College, Emporium, Exchange, Galleria, Guild Halls. Guild Halls, there you go. So there's your guild housing, in a way. Inns, libraries, lumber yards, marketplaces, markets. I don't know what the difference is there. Well, I guess markets can maybe be singular marketplaces. It could be a bunch of markets. Personal shops, royal stables, scholars academy, static housing, taverns, temples, thieves guild. Oh, some Elder Scrolls right there. Traders company, university, and warehouses. Constructible node buildings. So I guess so I think these might be static then, depending upon a constructible one. So these one would be the one where like the mayor would go, oh yeah. So apartments, marketplaces, royal stables. I guess if you want to read that little bit underneath there.
These are buildings that the mayor has agency over, determining whether or not they should be a constructed project. Constructible buildings can be selected at open plots that are gained as the node advances. If they elect to begin construction of one of these types of buildings, one of which is the marketplace, it'll grant certain trade benefits as well as some stalls that the citizens may participate in. You can make your own flea market.
Right. Okay.
I was just looking at the relics over here. Apparently they can be stolen.
Can they? That's awesome.
Yes. It enables a siege against the metropolis. So if somebody goes in and steals your relics, a siege is underway.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
That is pretty awesome. Let's see. Oh, so unique node buildings. So divine nodes, of course, temples. Economic, markets, exchange, galleria, emporium. Militaries, barracks, of course. Scientific, library, college, university, academy. Racial quests. Yeah, it seems like it's pretty big there if you want to read these.
Okay. There might even be different directories of the quest that exist for specific races. And even though you're sharing a quest to kill a boss, if you're human and I'm an elf, I will have a different arc that leads in a different direction than you, even though we took the same quest, and this can relate to who the primary cultural contributor is to a node, unlocking different arcs for cultures that share the primary culture of a node. Not that locks out content, but it gives a flavor in a different direction so that not everything is so cookie cutter. That's cool.
Right.
Race, yeah, race matters because narratives have paths that also are influenced based on the primary contributing culture to the node. If you're a Nakua and you're in a Nakua node, that's predominantly Nakua, you're going to have certain services and or abilities as a member of the Nakua race that other races may not have access to.
Say
They may have
Nakua
alternate
10
quest.
times fast.
What? I know. It was a bit of a tongue twister, but I survived it.
Nakua.
They may have alternative quest lines, but they won't have specific ones. Now, those specific Nakua quests will then relate to the meta narrative that's present in the world, and they'll start to direct some of that meta narrative, and that'll be beneficial for your kind because it will unlock certain content for your race that other races haven't unlocked yet. So there is an incentive there to see progression along that line now in order to curb the progress of a dominant race.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's so much.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I said race. I mean, everything means something, and that in itself, right there, Ash's Creation is going to be an amazing game. Like, they need to pull this off, Steve, team. You can pull this off because you got like if these systems can work and you get them to work, and I know you can. It's just coding is crazy. But I mean, you have so much variety and so much, it's going to be like the perfect MMO RPG because your race defines the look of things, your armor, your house, your city, what type of quests you can do, how you interact with the world and how you actually interact with the dungeon. I mean, and WoW, you pick your racial for, I guess I'll use like an orc, is screaming real loud and doing a little more damage, and then humans are just every man for themselves and they make more reputation. Done. Here, it just, the gear will look the same on a paladin, a warrior, and a death knight. No matter what your race is, it'll look the same. And Final Fantasy is the same way. It's just it'll look different because of the body types. But I mean, who's to say like if they didn't make, for instance, Alala's chess piece has more like money bags on it, because that's kind of like what they're all about or whatever. And then, but then you put that on a bunny, and it's more, revealing and floofy, So, I guess kind of getting a concept there, or like even like in WoW, a shirt on a chess piece on a human looks, like it's all new and shiny, and then you put it on undead, and it looks like it's like raggedy and older, And that's what this game is going to give us. That's what Ash's Creation is going to give us. I guess quickly finish off here. Quests that are race-specific, title-specific, or guild-specific will likely be less than 10% of the total number of quests. 90% of the quests should be able to be shared by everybody. But still, I mean, 10%. I mean, if there is 1,000 quests, it means that there is 100 quests that is specific to your race. And I'm pretty sure there is more than 1,000 quests in this game, probably.
I don't know where I'm going to have time for an alt.
I don't know. It's gonna be crazy. But I mean, that's a good thing, right? I mean, technically, do you really need? I mean, Final Fantasies play with the aspect of, like you can do everything on one character, but still, you're having alt jobs, alt things, right? This is your one character is your everything. I remember when in Endless, my paladin on WoW was my everything. I didn't dip into alts for a long time. And when I did, it was like a whole new experience. But now it's like alts are a dozen. Alt play is now an actual aspect of these games. And I to be honest though, I will make alts in this game in the sense of, like different races. Definitely one per race. Definitely. Because to see which is 9. So I already have 9 alts planned.
How you do?
You know, but I mean,
Slow down.
but it's because, I mean, no, I mean, this is, I mean, I want this game to at least go 10 years, right? We've talked about this. Like, if an MMO can really keep its story going, like I said, I can't wait for us to dive into the lore of this, and how they're going to
But
actually
you
bring.
can't play an alt because then your node's gonna fail because you have to contribute on your other character.
Not if all my characters are at the same node.
But they won't be because the nodes are race specific too. So you'd have
No,
to. Oh
no,
God.
no, they're not. They're not race specific. Yeah, if there is 60, let's say you have 10% of this one race and 20% of this, but there's 60% orcs in this place for some reason, then whoever has the most percentage of it'll look orky. Yes. So, static housing, we already kind of went over that. Apartments, we already went over that. Freeholds. So freeholds, I'm pretty sure the static housing and apartments, those are going to definitely be something that.
You skipped over something very important though that we were talking about earlier.
What?
A player may own up to one of each type of housing simultaneously. So you can have a static house, a freehold, and an apartment.
Probably have to have a lot of this though.
Well, a lot. But it's like static housing and apartments are 1 per server, but freeholds are 1 per account.
Yeah, 1 per account. Yeah. So well, technically, I guess because freeholds are actually like outside, big old house, and the thing that you're going to be buying, the big boy thing, your freeholds is what you're going to actually have cosmetic things that make like change their appearance. Because I'm pretty sure the apartment buildings are going to look default. Like this is an apartment building right here. And I think it's the human one. So that is an apartment building. So you're not going to be able to customize that. So, and I think, so this is actually, choose building. So this is a mayor choosing what to build here. So I guess it's not just, well, it must have changed a few things. Blacksmithing auction house. It's running around. Let's take a look. I think it was this way. Yeah, so this is a freehold right here. So it looks like you have a little triangle piece of land. This is probably going to be like Missy's place, but this will actually look like, well, this will actually look like an undead tree with fungus growing on it. So
I wonder what my static house, if I get one, if I'm lucky enough to get one at the village stage, I'm sure. Well, that might be another sick day.
Right.
It's just when it becomes a village, and Missy needs to get a house in a village so it can grow into a big.
Well, I think for
that, hopefully that your node progresses, because if it doesn't become a metropolis, then you don't get that big house.
Yeah.
You get choked out by someone else, right?
Exactly. So let's see here. Well, I guess we'll actually go there. So static housing here provides an on-instance player accommodation with a node within, also known as an in-node housing. Players will be able to purchase small one-room houses, cottages, starting at the village stage. There will be 8 cottages available for purchase at the village stage. The amount of static housing increases as a normal part of the node advancement. So the way that...
So there's only 8 that you can buy.
Well, no. So there's 8 at the village stage. When it moves up, and more cottages then become available, but those previous cottages upgrade.
Right,
so,
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You want one of those first 8, and that is definitely a sick day.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, you go.
Work be forewarned.
So the architecture of static housing is predetermined by racial influence. Okay, so not your race, unless you've really picked up that, the majority of this, like you're an orc and it's going to look orcish and you're happy with it. So I mean that's
Yeah.
going to determine like if Missy doesn't like how this place is looking, you're like, I don't want to be around orcs, you know,
Ugh.
then you'll probably leave, and and then you'll start, either go to another node.
Well, I think I don't know. What about my freehold? Could my freehold then look like me once it's
uh,
outside that metropolis?
I'm pretty sure because of the cosmetics, because your
Yeah.
house is going to look different. So I think your freehold's different, but the static housing will reflect whatever the major race, the design they're going. Apartments would be available at town stage 4 or above. And of course, these have to be built by the mayor, which I'm pretty sure every mayor will do it, or they'll be voted out. Term
Yep.
limits.
We don't want slumlord things going on either.
All right, had a drink there. So freeholds. So freeholds. So this is where we're gonna go here. Freeholds are sizable player housing plots that can be situated within the zone of influence of a village, stage 3 node or higher. So that's pretty cool. You can have one of these actually a lot sooner. You don't have to wait till a metropolis to own this. That's cool.
Yeah.
Freeholds are limited to 1 per account. Freeholds are approximately half an acre in size. The footprint of a freehold does not change the node progression with node progression. So the size that you get is it, no matter what it is. Expansions and upgrades become available as node progression allows. Freeholds may be sold. Freeholds may be sold
May
to other
not be.
players. Or may not be
No, they
sold to
may
other players.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I think the freeholds they're definitely going to be yours. So it's probably like when you're done with it, you destroy it, kind of thing. Let's see, the freehold system interacts with multiple other systems in game. Node progression, artisan classes, spawn actors, quests, taxation. And here, Missy, I will let you, because I'm going to gotta get some more refreshments here. This buying and selling of real estate, because I think that's an important thing there. And I will be right
All right.
back.
You go get a drinky and I'll continue on. So the buying and selling of real estate. Players buy the deeds for housing from the node itself. Players can also buy and sell properties from other players. Housing will have a base price that scales with the number of citizens in the node. In-node housing will be at a premium and is expected to be hotly contested. Well, I guess, because if you really want a super big mansion, you only have 8 that can be purchased at the village stage that will become the big boys once you hit level 6. So yeah, if there's only 8 available, there's going to be a huge, race to see who gets those. The more apartments that have been purchased in a node, the higher the price scales. Huh, okay. The developers are considering an auction-based method for listing new properties that become available for purchase when a node advances. A grace period will occur before the housing becomes available for auction. Bids will then be accepted starting at a minimum reserve value that is based on the number of citizens in that node. At the end of the auction, the highest bidder will win the house. Ooh boy, bidding wars. Wow, that could get crazy. Just kind of like in real life, a bidding wars for a home. Static housing and apartments can be listed and sold to other players. There is no cap on the price of player-originated housing sales. Player housing that is destroyed during a node siege can no longer be sold. Ooh, okay, that's... Ooh. Freeholds may not be sold to other players. This is subject to change based on testing. So, well, that could change at any time. There's no cap, essentially, in player-originated sales. Those are determined essentially by supply and demand as it is within the game, and there's no artificial barrier to how high that demand can go. So if you've got the big boy house in the metropolis that started as a village, oh boy, that's probably going to be worth a lot of money. Housing ownership can default back to the node if the owner fails to pay their property taxes. So you got to pay your taxes just like in real life. A balance of penalties will be charged to the new purchaser of the home in the manner of a foreclosure process. Oh geez, maybe I'd like to go in here and become a real estate agent.
Right.
Is that a job, Stephen? Is that a job? Players will not be able to exceed their allotment of housing in the game. This will allow players to transfer real property goods. This includes static housing. This includes apartments that they may own, and they can sell those because those will have a limited and finite quantity. Rental and leasing concepts are currently so you can rent.
Wow.
You can rent apartments. You don't have to own it. If you can't own it, somebody else will rent you one.
Steve, you're doing too much.
Yeah, I just want to be a real estate agent in here.
This is
Some
a second
concepts-
life now.
Some concepts that we have is going to be rental or leases that could be had, allowing players to kind of lease a property for a period of time where they will have control rights over utilizing storage based on the area, controlling the furniture or access point, all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Jeez, oh boy, that's yeah, that's crazy. So bidding wars,
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, housing's gonna be crazy. I think I'm just gonna go get my freehold where nobody can buy it. Well, for now, they're not saying that's gonna stay that way, but for now,
Yeah.
boy,